can't believe it. Everything is delayed. Everything good that's coming out in cinema and on television is being delayed. You know what? That's going to be my intro. Hello, and welcome to the Movie Scoops podcast. I'm your host, Sean, and today, I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty frustrated. Because of this coronavirus, lots of movies have been postponed from their release date. Pretty much every single movie coming out in March, April, and May have been delayed. Big budget movies like the Fast and the Furious, even though that was going to come out in like June, July, it has been postponed until next year. There's Peter Rabbit, Quiet Place Part 2. There's Black Widow, which got recently delayed. So many TV shows have been delayed, it's not even funny. I can't even listen to myself speak right now because I'm just so frustrated with it all. And I'm just going to have to get straight in, but we've got a lot for you in the show. We've got some movie reviews. I'm going to be reviewing The Invisible Man, Superman Red Son, and because of this whole experience right now, since it is such a bad time, I'm going to be having a new segment in the show called Bad Times Call for Bad Movies, where I will watch a universally bad movie and talk about it and pretty much rant about which everyone has done before about these movies. So stay tuned for that. But let's get into the news right now. James Gunn went into an interview where they asked him about how come Captain Marvel hasn't been noticed by the Guardians of the Galaxy, and his answer was, the universe is just that big. Which, fair enough. I mean, we don't know how big the universe is. It could go on for millions and millions of light years. And that could be possible. Captain Marvel could just be wrong place, wrong time, and not even know about the Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's pretty cool. A Tron TV series that was going to go on to Disney Plus has been scrapped by Disney. They've decided, nah, we're not going to do it. And I was really upset when I read this and heard this because I loved the Tron movie that came out, I think, in 2011, and the original Tron movie and the Tron game. They're such a good game and such good movies that tell such a good and compelling story that when this series got announced, I fully jumped off my chair in excitement because I was just so excited because Disney are making this property into a TV series, and I was just so excited for it. But now that they've cancelled it, I'm just really sad. And so we're just going to move on right now. Last week and the past few weeks, we had been talking about the Back to the Future remake. The first week, we talked about how Tom Holland said that they were going to make a remake and he was going to be Marty McFly. Then the week before, we talked about how the person who owns the rights to Back to the Future said a quote saying, "You wouldn't sell your kids into prostitution, so why would I sell the rights to this movie franchise?" And we spoke about that saying, wow, that's a pretty intense quote. But I guess it's true in the fact, that guy, I've forgotten his name, went on record stating that Back to the Future will not be a reboot. No, it will not be a remake, but a reboot. Where it's going to be Marty McFly's son going off with Doc. So that's who Tom Holland would play. Tom Holland would play Marty McFly's son, which, that blew my mind when I read that. I'm really excited for that, and I'm keen to see what they do with it. Let's move on. E3 got cancelled this week. For those of you who don't know what E3 is, and you're not a nerd, E3 is a gaming convention in which they announce all the big games, all of the big consoles that are coming out, and it's just probably the biggest gaming event of the year. And they cancelled this due to the coronavirus. And this makes me really sad because they were going to announce the PS5, which I'm very excited for. I'm very much a PS4 guy rather than an Xbox. Go PS4. But, this is the time of year when E3 is just where people want to go just to have fun and get to be excited about games. I mean, if you saw last year's one, Keanu Reeves was there and actually started the meme where they're saying, "You're breathtaking," when he announced Cyberpunk 2077. And we're not having that this year. It's been cancelled, which, I'm really upset about that. All right, let's move on. Let's go to a change of pace. Camille Nijani. I cannot pronounce that name. I am so sorry. But if you need reference, just Google him. He's in the new Eternals movie. He's a comedian, very funny guy. He's in lots of movies. I just can't pronounce his name because I suck. But anyway, he did a photo shoot this week where he dressed up as different movie characters. And he's not a guy, when you look at him, who looks like he would actually be a fitness nut. And if you see him in other movies, he doesn't look like that either. But he gained so much muscle and worked on his body so that he would be in top physical shape for this Eternals movie, that it really surprised me when I saw these photos. Because he dressed up as Wolverine, he dressed up as John McClane from Die Hard. It's just quite amazing how he's so devoted to the character in Eternals that he would literally spend so many hours training his body. And he looks great. If you have time to look at the photo shoot that he did and all the photos that he did, it's quite funny seeing him as Wolverine, because that's really funny. But yeah, check it out. The Jungle Cruise trailer came out this past week. Now, the Jungle Cruise will probably be delayed, let's be honest. But the Jungle Cruise movie just seems like a movie that they're just wanting to make Disney to make money. That's pretty much what Disney do with their live action movies that isn't Marvel right now. They're making these movies because they know that they'll make a profit. Jungle Cruise, on the other hand, just has star power of The Rock, Emily Blunt, just to make this movie seem watchable. Which, I think it will be watchable. I think it will be a fun movie, but I don't think that it will be a phenomenon. It's not going to be a Jumanji movie like they've done in the past, like Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle and Jumanji The Next Level. It's not going to be anything like that with The Rock, and it's going to be funny. It's just going to be lame, in my opinion. But I watched the trailer. The trailer looks alright. Looks like it was just going to be a simple jungle movie. Whatever, let's keep going. The Loki series has been confirmed for early 2021. Now, this could easily change with the coronavirus. Like, not saying that the coronavirus will still be here by 2021, because I don't know. But I mean, because they have other shows coming out this year. They have Falcon and Winter Soldier, which also got delayed, and we have WandaVision, which hasn't been delayed. But because of the fact that Falcon and Winter Soldier has been delayed, it's most likely that it will be moved back past WandaVision and probably early 21 at the latest, which means the Loki series will have to be moved into another timeline. So that makes me really sad. I'm really keen for this Loki series because there's just so much possibility with it. Like, there's so many theories and so much possibility that can come out of this TV show. This whole TV show universe that Marvel has created. There's so much creative freedom in which you can do anything with it. And I just really, really am excited to see this play out. But I don't want to wait a year and a half to watch this TV series. It's already painful enough that all good TV shows and movies that were meant to come out in the next 2 months have been delayed. So, I just hope that with the coronavirus thing, that the coronavirus will hopefully will just pass off, and we can go back to our daily lives, because we are in Australia at the moment. We are in quarantine, so we each have to stay in our own homes, and schools are shutting down, and workplaces are having to work at home. It's just a tough experience, and I feel like that after a few days I'm going to be a bit sick of Netflix, and I don't know what to do. And I just really hope and I pray that this will be able to move on, if that makes any sense. But let's move on. Mark Ruffalo has confirmed that he will be in the She-Hulk TV series. I am so excited about this. Mark Ruffalo is the Hulk, and the Hulk should be in the She-Hulk TV series. That should have been a given. But there was just so much on the fence parts of it where they're like, oh, should he be in this TV series? We should just go into another direction of the Hulk. But the fact of the matter is, if you're rumoring that you're going to have Red Hulk in this series, you at least got to have the Hulk in the series. And I feel like it's going to be perfect with 3 Hulks in a TV series, and it will just bring so much to the character. Like what we were talking about a few weeks ago about how we don't think Mark Ruffalo would be able to make a solo movie by himself. He's more of like a side character. Like, I'm not saying that he wouldn't be able to, it's just the character-wise, it wouldn't be as interesting. If you watch the Edward Norton one, like, his character wasn't really interesting. Like, it's just an experience that you just need to look at the character, look how good he plays with Thor, look how good he plays with Iron Man, and then those are what you should be in. I feel like if you were to take a step out and be like, he needs a solo movie, I would be hesitant about that. But the fact that he's in this series and he's going to further along the character of She-Hulk, it makes me so excited and I'm so happy, and we're going to move on because otherwise I'm just going to talk about this for ages. The Avengers campus opening up in Disney has been set to open July 1st. Now, this pretty much every bit of news here can be delayed due to the coronavirus, but I went to Disneyland last year for my graduation, and I was just looking, like, you could see just over the fence of all the Marvel stuff. Like, they had changed this ride that had been there since the beginning of Disneyland called the Hollywood Tower of Terror, and they changed it to Guardians of the Galaxy themed, and it looks awesome. But I'm just so excited to see this new area of Disneyland where it's just going to be all Marvel themed. Like, we're gonna go on to the next point, which says that Tom Holland will reprise his role of Spider-Man for the Spider-Man ride at this part in Disneyland, and that's just so exciting. Like, there's not going to be many rides there. I know that there's going to be one ride, which is Spider-Man. There's going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, but other stuff in there. But I'm just really excited for this. I can't wait to go and see it. Let's move on. The Scream reboot. Now, I read this the other day. I am a big fan of Scream. The Scream series is one of the best in cinema. If you've seen the first Scream, it's so funny. Like, it's the most self-aware horror movie ever. Because that's what it is. It's not a spoof, it's a satire of the horror genre. So they're so self-aware in the fact that they feel like that they're in a horror movie, but they're not, like, breaking the fourth wall. And it's really, really good and really, really well done. But they kept going with the series, but at least Wes Craven, the director of all of them, kept a consistent tone. And then they had the Scream TV series, which went in a completely different direction for 2 seasons. Then they had a third season which pretty much just went into another completely different direction, and that was pretty much it. But Ready or Not directors, the people who directed Ready or Not, have come out saying that they are planning to make a Scream reboot. Have you seen Ready or Not? It is a fantastic horror film. Like, it's fantastically well done, female character-driven story, shows female empowerment throughout the entire thing. Great movie. If you have time, definitely go and see it. It does get a bit weird throughout it, but that just further alongs the story. Definitely go and see it. I'm really excited for this, and yeah, I'm just really excited to see how this goes. Now, this is a funny thing that got released yesterday, from my time, that a Twitter user put on Twitter saying that there was a version of Cats where they CGI'd buttholes onto all the cats. So now there is a petition to release the butthole cut. Now this made me laugh because the fact of the matter is that movie is utter trash. there's no point in sugarcoating it. It's a bad movie, bad CGI. It just ruins everything with this. But nonetheless, it's just an exciting idea that that people who forgot to CGI over Judi Dench's hand about a wedding ring actually spent time and effort CGIing buttholes onto all the cats. That just amazes me and it makes me laugh. And honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I feel like that'd make the experience of watching Cats more enjoyable, because when I went to go see it, it was pretty boring. Nearly walked out. Nearly just did nothing. It was just a bad movie. But it's just that. Like, it's a bad movie, but I feel like this would just make people enjoy it just that little tiny bit more that they needed to. Alright, let's move on. James Marsden, who played Cyclops in the X-Men trilogy, he also starred alongside Sonic in the Sonic movie, has revealed that he has already signed a multiple potential sequels for Sonic the Hedgehog, which is a given. It was fantastic. It really did really well, and it made back its money really good, and it's the most profitable video game movie ever. I went to go see it, and I thought it was going to be crap. Didn't think it was going to be worth it, and it really surprised me. It really surprised me how they were able to adapt to the video game genre into a movie, because if you've seen any video game movies, there is a curse to them. Like, pretty much every single one of them, except for Sonic, was utter trash. I mean, Ready Player One was somewhat good. I feel like it goes above bad. It was good, but it just felt like not a video game movie. Like, the video game was the set piece, but it didn't feel like a video game movie. Let's move on. There is a rumor that Charlie Cox, the person who plays Daredevil in the Netflix Marvel TV series, may reportedly appear in the third Spider-Man movie, according to Kevin Smith. If you don't know who Kevin Smith is, he's a very high-end comic book director. He has a podcast, and he's really high up in that sort of area. Like, anything that he gets told is pretty much true. He gets to go to the Star Wars and Marvel sets all the time, and he said that it's a rumor that they're wanting to do that. Can I just say, it was an injustice that they didn't bring any of the Netflix Marvel people into a Marvel movie. It's an injustice. Like, even if they just had Daredevil, even just a little mention of Daredevil in, like, Captain America Civil War, or Avengers Endgame, or Avengers Infinity War, it would have been fine enough. Luke Cage, on the other hand, alright, he's alright. Jessica Jones, alright. Iron Fist, he can go and he can die. But I only say that because if you've seen the Iron Fist series, both seasons are really bad, and it's not very good. The Defenders, on the other hand, I actually really enjoyed the Defenders because I thought it was a really good TV show. But I feel like just not mentioning these heroes of New York, especially when Spider-Man is a superhero in New York, that they just don't get mentioned. But the fact is, if he gets added into this movie, I will literally scream in the cinema when I go see this movie. I will literally scream. I'm not even joking. I will scream at the top of my lungs, and then I'll cry. But let's move on. We're going to talk about the coronavirus movies again. I'm gonna list the movies and TV shows that have been delayed. No Time to Die, the James Bond movie, we talked about that a few weeks ago. Quiet Place Part 2, we talked about that before. Riverdale Season 4 has been delayed. Fast and Furious 9, Survivor, The Amazing Race, Falcon the Winter Soldier, Mission Impossible 7, Peter Rabbit 2, The Lovebirds, Milan, New Mutants, Antlers, Grey's Anatomy, and Black Widow. I just need a second, because that just... That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff there. And I just can't believe that that's a thing. I just can't believe that all of those things have just been cancelled. And it makes me sad. And really, Really, I have no words. I have no words to describe it. It just makes me sad. All right. We are going to move on to the part in the podcast. Bad times call for bad movies. Now, I started watching this movie this week that was universally known as being bad. This movie is called The Emoji Movie. What has been called the single worst animated film in history. The single worst animated film in history. It was on Netflix. I watched it. I hadn't watched it since it came out. I gotta tell you something. And this is probably the worst thing I could ever say about the Emoji Movie. I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed watching the Emoji Movie. I thought it was funny in parts. I definitely sat there and went, this is just a movie to really, like, just for product placement. But I feel like that made the comedy just that little bit funnier. I felt like the jokes were really bad and stupid, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and all the jokes were really dated, but I don't know what to tell you. Like, I didn't think I was going to enjoy this movie. I thought I was just going to die after watching this movie. But I watched it and I was like, oh, well, that's neat. I really enjoyed this movie. But I know you guys, and I know you guys are just you're gonna be like, well, if you like this movie, you didn't talk about a bad movie, and this is bad. A bad time's called for bad movies, which is why I prepared 2 bad movies. Wow, explosions! I know, crazy. But the second movie in which I had watched was the Doom 2005 movie. Because there is a Doom game coming out at the end of this year. If you don't know what Doom is a video game series. We're going back to video game movies. A video game series that came out in like the 1980s, 1990s. It was an arcade game, and it was brilliant. It was a brilliant game. Amazing first-person shooter. Great. And it eventually became a remastered game back in 2016. And that was probably even better than the original. And they decided, well, we're going to make a movie about this. We're going to make a movie called Doom. We're going to star The Rock, which isn't The Rock that we know nowadays. It's The Rock from 2005. He doesn't look like a double fridge. He looks like just a normal fridge, like everyone else. That's a way to describe him. He was really, really a lot skinnier, hadn't gained a lot of muscle, and he wasn't really that good at acting at that point. If you watch him in wrestling, he's a brilliant actor, and he is brilliant on the mic and speaking. But in this movie, he's pretty bad. But this movie is just awful. Like, it decided, hey, we've taken this first-person game. Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to make a first-person motion sequence in this movie. And it's just a bad sequence. Like, you can see why this hasn't been used in any other movies today. It's just a bad sequence of a bad movie. Like, it's a good idea on paper. Oh, first-person movie needs a first-person sequence because we need to make the fans happy. And that's exactly what I was talking about. It's fan service. But this is an example of fan service done wrong. This movie is an embarrassment to the Doom franchise. Like, one of the monsters in the Doom game, his name is Pinky. And there's this guy in the movie who's like, what's your name? What's your name, son? And he's like, my name is, call me Pinky. And you're like, this is not good. You just ruined this for me, and I hate you. And I'm being really over the top right now, but it's true. It's just a bad thing. Like, you can't do that to a beloved character, and it's really stupid. And it's just bad. It's just a bad, and even worse experience. Like, don't watch this movie. It's not very good. You will literally and figuratively have a heart attack because it's just that bad of a movie. We are going to move on now to our reviews. We're going to talk about The Invisible Man. Now, I went to go see The Invisible Man yesterday with my friend Sam Cockgrove. Shout out to you, Sam Cockgrove. But I watched the movie. is pretty much not the start of the Dark Universe, because that was already a thing, but it's more of like the rebirth of the Dark Universe, because it's a great movie. Made on a really low budget, great thriller. Like, you sit there and you go, oh, is that the Invisible Man? Is he here? Is he gonna kill this woman? Probably not. But, you're just gonna watch this movie. And by the way, no, I'm doing non-spoilers right now. I'll go into spoilers after this. But you watch the movie, and pretty much this isn't really a spoiler, because it's in the trailers, it's in the first 5 minutes of the movie, but it's just pretty much a girl whose boyfriend is abusive to her, so she decides to run away. And there's this whole mystery to the movie where you're like, has her boyfriend decided, hey, I'm gonna go invisible and I'm going to watch you? And it's just that whole idea of that. But it was really executed brilliantly. If you see this movie, like, it really has tension in the movie. Like, you feel like every step that this girl takes could reveal the Invisible Man. And like the Invisible Man could not be real. Like, she could be imagining things. She could be having a panic attack. She could be taking drugs for all we know. And we watched this movie and we're like, oh, it's so bad for her. There's an Invisible Man here. He's going to kill everyone. But and then you're like, wait. But if you dive into it deeper, you're like, this girl is clearly has something wrong with her, and she could be imagining that there is an Invisible Man when there's really nothing there, and she's going crazy thinking about it. And really great movie. Go and see it. You'll love it. And I'm going to go into spoilers right now, because I'm really going on the edge of spoilers. Now, here's your last chance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Too late. We're in spoilers. The Invisible Man is real! That was really over the top, but I just needed to get it out of my system. So pretty much the whole story of the Invisible Man was that it was an abusive boyfriend, the girlfriend runs away, and the boyfriend fakes his death. And he is a optical scientist, and he had created this suit that has cameras and that is full of cameras and screens that will project what the camera is seeing through the screens, and will project it onto the screens, which makes it seem like it's invisible. For example, if you were to have a camera and a screen in front of you, so the camera was behind you and the screen was in front of you, and the camera was connected to the screen would be showing what's behind you. He has probably about hundreds of those all over his body, which project the images of the front, side, back, up, and down, which makes him seem that he's invisible when he is not. Really, really great storytelling, because you don't know if the Invisible Man's there or not. Like, as I said just then, like, it makes you think for a little bit that this girl could be crazy. But it really dives deep into this idea. Like, she is really on edge with everything that she does. Her sister in the movie really cares for her, but she sometimes just feels like that she doesn't care, which eventually leads into her demise. Like, she figured out that he was an Invisible Man. She found the suit in his house and hid it from him, which both Sam and I, when we went to go see this movie, were pretty outraged. We were like, why didn't she just put on the suit and walk out? Like, she could just easily put on the suit and walk out, and he would never find her. That just makes me angry. It makes me angry when I think about it, because it's just it was just such a good idea, but that she tucked it away and hid it for later. But anyway, she goes out to dinner with her sister, and her sister's like, you sent me an email about how you wish I was dead, and I don't like you, which happened in the movie. She, the Invisible Man went onto her computer and sent her sister an email saying how she wished she had died instead of her boyfriend, which wasn't true. The Invisible Man in this movie, there are some really cool scenes, like the girl's chopping up some food, and then she goes and she's cooking stuff on the stove, and she goes off to go to the toilet or something, and the Invisible Man takes the knife, puts the heat up really high so it will go on fire. which is really cool. And then the Invisible Man, like, sits on a chair, and she's, like, really, really scared in there. And he, like, hides in the roof. Like, he has his phone up in the roof. He took photos of her while she was sleeping. And, you know, it's just, like, a really scary experience. Like, I said to Sam throughout this movie, like, if this Invisible Man suit was a real thing, like, if this was a real thing, it would be too much power, and the only people who would buy it is the government for their, and the Secret Service, and perverts. Only 3 people that would buy it. Because it's just too much power for one person to have, just to be completely invisible to the naked eye. But I really enjoy this movie. I loved the twist in it. So pretty much what happened was, she went out with her sister, like I was saying before, and was like trying to explain everything, and she was just about to say, he's alive, he's figured out how to make himself invisible, and the Invisible Man's there the entire time. He grabs the knife that's on the table, slits her throat, and puts the knife into the girl's hands to make it look like she killed her. And the girl goes to, like, a mental asylum, and they're trying to figure out, and she's like, he's in the room, and he's here, he's going to kill me. But then they find out that she's been pregnant this entire time, which changes the boyfriend's mind. He now doesn't want to kill her. He wants her to come back onto his side, which she's like, I'm not having it. You just killed my sister. You're not going to do anything. So, pretty much throughout this entire movie, there's 3 main people. There's the Invisible Man, who is the boyfriend. There's the Invisible Man's brother, who's a lawyer. There's the girl, and it's actually 4 characters, but then there's the police officer in which she stays with. She's staying over the house with. And the twist in the movie is that the lawyer, who seemed like from the beginning and all the way through, seemed like he hated his brother, and he was glad that he was dead, and he was glad that all had happened, was the Invisible Man, was quote-unquote the Invisible Man the entire time, because at the end sequence, when the main girl, I completely forgot their names. I just didn't really care about their names, honestly. But she tries to kill herself so that they get rid of the evidence. No, not the evidence. Sorry, she gets rid of the baby, which is really brutal. But the Invisible Man stops her, and that's exactly what she wanted. So she stabbed him a whole bunch of times, but he killed like 30 police officers, and is going back to the police officer man's house to kill his daughter. In which they come home, he beats the police officer near to death, and then the Invisible Man gets shot and revealed to be the brother. Which I feel like in that situation was like, wait, this is annoying, because we wanted it to be the boyfriend the entire time. And it'd be like, in a normal horror movie, that would be the credits there. They'd be like, hey, everyone's safe now, they've got the killer, and credits roll. But no, they dove into it deeper, which I really enjoyed. It actually turned out that the brother was kidnapped by the other brother, like the Invisible Man, and he it was a fake kidnapping, pretty much, like what has been theorized at the end of the movie. And so the girl goes over and has dinner with her ex-boyfriend, and is like saying, yeah, if you want to be a part of this child's life, you need to admit right now that you were the Invisible Man the entire time. And he's just like, I wasn't the Invisible Man. You're crazy. You're stupid. I know I treated you bad, but you're still stupid, and stuff like that. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And and this is where that invisible suit that she hid away comes into play. She puts on the suit, becomes invisible, comes out, and comes out and kills the boyfriend, makes it seem like a suicide due to the camera angle. And then she undresses and then pretends that he had killed himself. Now, I feel like this is a good ending to this movie, because rather than it being a payoff such as we found the killer and nothing else happened, she's risen up from being the damsel in distress to being the badass hero in the end. Definitely go and see it. Great movie. We're going to move on to Superman Red Son. Now, if you don't know what Superman Red Son in the comics is, it's pretty much has the question as if Superman's ship, when it landed on Earth, landed in Mother Russia in the 1940s when the Cold War was going on, instead of America. Which is a really weird concept, because if you think about after World War II, well, even before World War II, in that time, like, we had Joseph Stalin, who was a mad dictator who killed so many people, and with the power of Superman being there, it's crazy. And so he, throughout the story, really good storytelling, and this shows what would happen in America. Like, Lex Luthor and Lois Lane are married, and Lex Luthor isn't really a villain, but he is sort of a villain in a way. But he represents the whole America as a whole. And then they have a Russian Batman. Wonder Woman's there, but she's like a bad person. She's like on Superman's side. The Green Lantern Corps in this, but I'm going to go straight into spoilers because I have kind of said who's in the movie, but we're going to go straight into it. So the whole story of this Superman Red Son comic is like, Superman finds out that Joseph Stalin has been killing people and enslaving people, and which Superman has been brought up with the communist movement. For those of you who are uncultured and don't know about the communist movement, it is a movement in which everyone is treated the exact same, which is a great idea on paper, but when it had been made, it was a total crap show. Like, people, they still had dictators. Like, they were like, everyone gets treated the same except for this guy. This guy is the number one person, and you must follow him. And Russian people lived like this for years and years and years, and they still kind of live like this. But mostly in China, they still live like with the communist movement. But pretty much Superman finds out about this and kills Joseph Stalin, and then takes over his place as the leader of Russia. And through this, he makes an alliance with most countries. Like, he stopped the Korean War in 3 hours. Like, he stopped the entire war in 3 hours. He made Themyscira, Wonder Woman's country, an ally, which Wonder Woman comes to the aid of Superman a lot of times. And then America is like, we need a Superman to beat this guy, so they make Bizarro. If you don't know what Bizarro is a character in the comics that's like, it's like Superman, but he's like a zombified Superman. Like, he looks the same, but like after too much electric shots, had become like this disfigured, stupid monster, which is what happened. And so the Americans made what was known as I think it was Ultraman or something like that, and he had on his chest, rather than the S, he had the US. And he went to fight Superman, and Lex Luthor was like, we need to give this guy more power, and he pretty much just died on his own. And it was just a really, really big experience in the US Army's life in this movie, that they thought that they had created a person that could beat the Superman, and it didn't work. Anyway, the story goes on. Brainiac comes and steals Moscow. Because if you don't know what Brainiac does, Brainiac is this really, really smart alien being that likes to go to planets and like scoop up a city and take it. Like, he will just scoop up a city and then just take it all. He did that with Krypton. He did it with Earth and whatnot. Brainiac ends up becoming the big villain in the end, but we'll keep going with the story. But then the U.S. government, when JFK was elected, they found a Green Lantern ship in which they gave the Green Lantern ring to Hal Jordan, because Hal Jordan is the Green Lantern. But what they wanted to do with the ring was that they wanted to figure out this power source and how to recreate it so they can make an army of Green Lanterns, which they eventually did. But during this time, there was a Russian terrorist known as the Batman, which is a completely different direction of the Batman. Like, if you see Batman, he wears one of those, like, Eskimo hats and blows up places. And, like, it's pretty brutal, like, this side of Batman. But he's, like, this big terrorist fighting against the power of Superman. And then Batman eventually nearly kills Superman. Like, he ties up Wonder Woman with a lasso of truth because she can't break the lasso of truth. And has the whole room set up with red sunlights. Because where Superman is from, Krypton, rather than having a yellow sun like we do, he has a red sun, and the red sun makes him human. Like, it makes him not have human, and when he's exposed to our sun, he has the superpowered abilities. But because he had the red sun there, he was weak, and Batman beat him to a pulp, and he was just going to die. Until Wonder Woman used all her power left to break through the lasso of truth, which is a big task in that, and she's pretty much used all of her energy. Her hair had gone completely white, and she freed Superman, and then Superman was like, I'm gonna kill you, Batman, because I can, and Batman's like, I'm gonna go out on my own terms, and blows himself up. And then Superman lives his life, and Wonder Woman's gone, nah, I used to believe in you, but I don't now, so I'm going to leave you. So she leaves him, and then US government's like, this is our only opportunity, we need to stop Superman. So they've got about 30 Green Lantern going after them, which Superman beats them pretty easily. And then Brainiac comes back and tries to kill Superman, but Superman decides, hey, I know I've done wrong, and I know that I've done things wrong, but I can make this right. So he pushes the ship into space, and it blows up, and killing him in the process. And at this time, Lex Luthor's the president of the United States, so that's a thing. But great movie. I'd probably say one of the best animated superhero movies I've ever watched. Very interesting comic, very interesting story. Like, it reminds me a lot of the Flashpoint storyline, which we spoke about a few weeks ago, and a movie. If you have time, definitely watch it. Like, watch it online. It's very, 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 very fun, very, very good show, and I couldn't suggest it enough. And at this point, we're going to end off the podcast. I hope that all of you are okay in your lives because of the coronavirus. I hope you're safe. I hope you're healthy. And we'll still be posting podcasts. So thank you. Bye.